Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I hear you perfect.
All right. Hey guys. Whoa. Oh, we're already getting a lot of likes, buddy.
All right, good deal.
Hey guys, Shawn Hays here. You know what time it is. It's time for Sales Hustlers Spotlight. And guess what we got tonight? We got a great one tonight. I'm really excited. I want to thank QuickPage, the best app in the business, for the sponsor, for helping out with everything. If you guys need a great video app to help propel your business, make sure you get QuickPage. As I say all the time, the best app in the business. But what we have tonight on Spotlight is we have Reda. We have Reda out of a Chevrolet dealership in Michigan. And I don't know if you know this, but for a long time in the car business, the best car salesman ever has been Joe Girard. Everybody knows that, right? Well, we have a guy here tonight who is finally, after 44 years, Joe Girard has held this record. After 44 years, Ali has finally broke it. Ali, why don't you say hi to everybody in Facebook?
That's very humbling. Thank you. Hello, Facebook. Hello, everybody.
Ali, what we like to do in Spotlight is we like to help other salesmen across the country. We just want to get them a little bit better. A lot of people, you know, we stay in our little cocoon and we don't really know what goes out there. And then when we hear somebody that puts up the numbers that you do, we don't feel like we can do it ourselves. So I like to spotlight them and every week bring you and other people to their phones and to their computers so they can then maybe envision themselves getting better. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your childhood and your family life?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, I grew up in Detroit. You know, I went to elementary school in Detroit, junior high school, you know, good childhood. And I moved to Dearborn, where I currently live, in the 9th grade. So I started high school at Fortson High School. A big shout out to Fortson. You know, I've been in Dearborn ever since.
Dearborn, Michigan. Where is that located at exactly in Michigan?
You know, we're a suburb right outside of Detroit. You know,
Okay. Detroit, Rock City, man.
Yeah.
Were you born and raised there, you said?
No, you know, I was actually born in Middle East in Lebanon. And,
in Lebanon?
I came when I was 2 years old. So, you know, pretty much my whole life. And then, you know, I just pretty much lived in Michigan my whole life, you know, Detroit, then Dearborn, and that's where I'm at now.
Well, so you went to school in Michigan your whole life. 2 years old, you moved here. How was high school here? How was it, you know, how did your family say it was different from Lebanon?
You know, I mean, you know, they're immigrants, man. They didn't really, you know, they didn't go to school. They didn't have all the luxuries that we had here. And, you know, it was cool, man. High school was awesome. You know, we you know, adapted to Dearborn really good and met a lot of friends. And, you know, this is a pretty tight knit community.
Did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to Henry Ford Community College. You know, I got my associates in business. And that's pretty much kind of where it stopped. I played basketball at Henry Ford also, which was pretty cool.
You did?
Yeah, that I really loved.
All right, what position did you play?
That was a big highlight. You know what? We had a pretty small team, so I was all over the place. So I had to play forward. And I'm about 6 foot. I played center also, so it was just a great experience.
You know, sports. I always talk about this a lot. Sports is very similar to business and car sales. I find a lot of similarities in it, and the team aspect and team building and you know, how you need a team to actually perform at a high level, you know? So that's, you don't hear a lot of people How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
Are you really? Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
on a normal team with normal height, you'd be playing point guard, but you were playing forward and center, man. That's kind of funny. All right. So after community college, what did you do next, man?
Well, back to Fortson, when I was going to high school, I signed up for this co-op program that, you go to school half the day and then you work half the day. So I signed up for this co-op program my senior year, which was in 1991. And I got a job at this industrial company called Michigan Industrial Belting, and they would supply like conveyor belts and sprockets and V-belts and, things like that. And I worked in the warehouse there part-time, and I went to school part-time. And, I worked my way up. It was a family-owned business. So, it was basically two brothers, and then I kind of worked my way up there. Just about third in line, and I was there for 10 years. So I was there till 2001.
Well, if you stayed there for 10 years, you said it was a good company, a family company. What made you want to leave?
A lot of the reasons people leave their jobs, man, I did love that job and I loved them. But I couldn't get any more. I couldn't get any more out of it. I pretty much kind of peaked there. And, it was good. At that time I was, maybe making $500-600 a week. And, I just had got engaged, and, I was supporting my mother and my sisters. My mother, one of the greatest people in the world, strongest people in the world. And I just wanted more. I felt like
well, before we get into,
I talked to this old timer.
Before we get into the nuts and the bolts, I want to thank all the auto community for tuning in. We have a lot of people in here. I want you to know, Ali, a lot of people really, really want to hear your story. They want to hear how you guys have developed such a great system up there to produce the numbers you do. But I want to talk to all the auto community real quick here. You could do us both the favor. You could do all of us a favor and get this out to more people. If everybody in here, which is 70 people, if you could all hit share right now, I would greatly appreciate it. We need to get this out to more timelines. We need to get this out to more people in the auto community. Some people probably don't even know this is going on right now until it flashes in their timeline, but we greatly appreciate it. Now, I see you got the Christmas tree behind you, Ali, and I see you got Tom Brady behind you, all right? I find that interesting. Because of all places that you sit, you have to sit right in front of a Michigan Wolverine jersey to an Ohio State Buckeye guy. I find that funny.
Not personal. It's not personal, not at all, man. No, that's good. That's Tom Brady is just one of the greatest of all time, man. And Michigan fan, Ohio fan, NFL. You got to respect guys that do great. And he's one of the greats, man. No,
he's better than great. He's amazing. And I always reference Tom Brady a lot. I do in my videos when I'm talking about sports. I always reference him because I'm a big sports nut. All right, I love sports and I respect sports so much, but I also respect guys that overachieve, and I respect guys that are drafted in the 6th round, not supposed to be who they are, and they had the guts to walk up to their owner on the first day and say, "Hey, I'm going to be the best choice you've ever made, ever." Now, who does that, right? That's just amazing to me. He's an overachiever. He's a classic overachiever. And now he's going to go down as one of the best ever. And I just absolutely respect that and love that. Now, I want to get down to let's retrace just a hair. So you're out of business. You're working for a family industrial company. You've been there 10 years. You kind of feel like you capped it out all the way, right? Yeah. Like, man, I don't really see where I can go the next level. So what then? Do you go right into the car business, or is there something in between that?
No. At that time, I was going to say, I was talking to this old timer, and I told him, hey, I think I got to get a second job because this is not cutting it. And what he said kind of stuck with me. He says, why are you going to get a second job? Just get one good job. That's a career. And, kind of stuck with me ever since. And I said, you know what, he's right. And I was tossing up between, I almost went into real estate. I talked to another finance company with like stocks and that. And, then a friend of mine that was in car sales, who I was talking to, and I asked him, hey, how do you like it? And he says he loves it, and he was just telling me all the good things about it. Just so happened that he was actually leaving that dealership to go work for a Jaguar dealership. And I told him, I said, hey, are they hiring? I'd like to go talk to somebody. And that was a Chevrolet dealership I started at. So he gave me the manager's name, and I went there, I talked to the manager, and I told him what I was doing, and I told him why I wanted to change. And I told him I was making, 40, 50,000, whatever it was. And he kind of looked at me and said, you can make that in 6 months, and, a young kid, and I'm just getting engaged, and I'm thinking, wow, this is amazing. So, he pretty much hired me right there. And, I told him I need a couple weeks before I could start, but that was my first job over at Bill Wink Chevrolet.
Who are you with now?
Right now I'm with Les Stanford.
Okay, so you have a different Chevy dealership. Have you always been with Chevy?
Yeah, I started out there, Chevy, and I worked there for 10 years at Bill Wink. And, I started there in June, I believe in June or May of 2001. And I worked there till June of 2010. And unfortunately, Bill Wink was one of the dealers that GM had closed down on that wind down program. So they were one of the ones, we went through that 08, 09 period, and they were one of the unlucky ones that kind of, had to go through the closing. So I was there till they closed.
Let me ask you, right when you got in the car business, I always find this interesting with people, and because it was right away with me when I got in the car business. I mean, right away, my first paycheck, my first week, I knew it was an accident that I got into it, but I knew it was for me. Was it that way for you? Were you good right from the start?
Yeah, funny story is I needed that 2 weeks to kind of let my other job know what was going on. And I asked the manager at the time, hey, you mind if I come in on the late nights and just hang out and just kind of observe things? And he says, no, not a problem. So I'm there on a Thursday night late, and I'm just kind of watching everybody and seeing what's going on. And guy walks up to me and he says, hey, you work here? And I says, no, not yet. I'm training, but, I'm going to be starting in a week or so. And he said, well, I want to buy a car from you. And I'm just standing there, and I don't know anything about the cars. I don't know anything about the sales process. So I go run over and grab the manager. I'm like, hey, this guy says he wants to buy a car from me. And I told him I don't work here yet. And he goes, well, find out what he wants. So so I go back over there. I asked the guy what he wants. And, he was really cool. I still remember the guy. And he said, this is what I want. It was kind of pretty easy because he knew exactly what he wanted. And I sold my first car, and I didn't even start. I was just hanging out there. And that was the first car I ever sold.
And that was 2001, right?
That was in 2001.
All right. So was this a very thriving dealership? Was there a lot of really top guys? Did you go right to the top, or were you kind of like a middle feeder and then kind of went up top?
No, man. I started at the bottom. I started there. There was a couple people that I looked up to right away. Who one of them who became a really, really big part of my life, a mentor in my life, Jerry Turfey. And he was one of the top guys there, man. This guy was just, doing well, and everybody knew him, and he'd come in and people would ask for him. And here, guys just kind of just taught me a lot of things that I know in the business. And, another one, a girl who I work with now is to me, family now. Her name is Talicia. And, she taught me a lot in the business, and I still work with her today.
So you've worked 2 jobs previous, both 10 years. All right. And you've been at your current dealership about 7 years. So you got about 3 more years there, Ali. That's it. You have a trend. You have a trend going, man. All right. So
I thought about that.
Yeah, I totally understand it. And, me and my wife were talking about it last night. I'm the same way. Same way. Like, for some reason, 6 years has been my thing with every place I've worked. I don't know what it is, 6 years, but so you leave that one dealership because you really don't have a choice, or you might still be there today. Who knows? But you go to the one you're at now. All right.
Right.
Did you know about this dealership? Were they local where you lived?
Yeah, they were local. I knew about them. They were kind of our competitor. Really, it was a Chevy dealer also, and I knew the managers there, and I knew a couple of the guys over there, and we chat. But I was pretty loyal to that place, yeah. And when we found out that they were closing, then I started talking to, the managers over there at Stanford and kind of work something out with them. So it's kind of an easy transition for me to go from one dealer to another, because I'm not one to jump ship by any means. And I think in this business, you definitely have to stay put if it's the right home. You got to find the right spot that you're comfortable, that you love, and you got to make that your home, and you got to have that in your mind.
Yeah, you're actually lucky you found a good one, because I hear stories across Facebook, basically, of salesmen who really, really have a hard time finding a good fit. So it's kind of cool. You went to two, you kind of meshed with both, and it seems like they're probably good people, which always helps. Do you really like being at your dealership? Do you enjoy it?
I love it. Yeah, absolutely, man. I love going there every day. I loved it when I was doing 20 cars. So it's not just because I'm doing that high volume. I've always loved it. And, I believe you have to, man. You can't go to work with this mentality that, oh God, I got to be at this place, or, you got to want to be there. That's going to rub off on your clients. It's going to take a toll on you.
Yeah.
That's why I say find a place that you love and stick with that place. I mean, that's what you want to do.
Absolutely. All right. So we're going to get into some meat and potatoes here, guys, everybody. All right. And this is why you all tuned in. I'm sure you like Ollie and you love to hear about his story, but this is probably why you tuned in, So I need everybody. I think we're going to break the internet right now, because right now we have the most people in this feed that we've ever had, Ollie. Okay, so I want everybody, let's try to step it up even more. For those who haven't hit share yet, hit the share button and let's blow this thing up, man. Let's get Ollie out there to everybody. So, Ollie, we're at this dealership. You're doing well, okay? Explain to me, let's see here. Explain to me your process and how did it lead up to, okay, you're obviously a 20, 30, 40 car guy, right? How do you go from 20 or 30 or 40 up to the numbers that you're doing now?
It doesn't happen that fast. So, when I first got there in 2010, I was doing 20, 25. We had to start over. Anybody that tells you that was anybody in the business that was there 2007, 8, 9 and stuck with the business, you kind of had to start over. So it was basically just, and we'll get into this a little bit later maybe, but the relationship business was already started at the first dealership I was at. So my transition was a little bit easier because I already started building that years before. But it doesn't go from 20 to 40 to 100, you kind of work your way up there, and it gradually, as you take care of people, man, they're just going to keep coming back, and it just
well, that's the hardest part for people, not just like me. Okay, because we've had conversations. I've now, because of this show, I've talked to people doing some outstanding numbers. So in my mind, I understand it now. But before that, before Facebook, before me meeting you, before me meeting Frank Cranitti, for a guy sitting on the couch or going to work every day, bringing his lunch pail to work and pushing out 20 to 25 units, when the numbers that you guys put out seem so astounding. And they seem overwhelming. And how do you even get to those numbers? You know what I'm saying? Do you understand how people have trouble believing it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can explain that a little bit. So in the social media, the way it's heading, that's kind of where it's at, right? So I haven't been a big social media guy, advertising on social media. I started out advertising in my local community and being very active in my local community. So you got to start there, because that's where you're physically at. People see you, people touch you, people know your family, you know their families. For one example, I started out, when I was at Bill Wink, I started helping out a friend of mine who started a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. And later on, as he grew, and now he has 2 facilities, and it's Hype Athletics. I started with them from the beginning. Now this guy's got 2 huge facilities full of people, and I've been advertising with him since day one. So I grew with him, and a lot of other businesses are like that. So I grew with these people, and I got myself out there. it's one thing, Shawn, to advertise, to just say, okay, I'm going to throw up a banner here. And it's different if you throw up a banner and you're physically there. Those are two different things. So your presence really has to be felt by everybody. Because at the end of the day, you want them to know who you are. Everybody needs to know what you do and what you're doing there.
Hold on 1 second here, Ali. I was told to hit the... Oh, I'll come back to it while you're talking. Well, all right. So like the marketing aspect in the reciprocating sales, okay, that's what I'm noticing. The parodies of people that are doing astounding numbers is they cross promote within their community. Okay. They do a lot of cross promotion. They have a lot of reciprocating sales, and they really just become, for lack of better terms, the mayor of their city. All right. Let everybody know what you do. Was that kind of your outlook on it?
100%. That's exactly right. Yeah. You have to start there. I mean, it doesn't make sense for me to start 100 miles away from my dealership. It doesn't make sense for me to just start even on social media. You know, you want to get yourself out there first. You want everybody to know what you do and what you can offer. You know, I pretty much know the owner of almost every single business in the city. I mean, I can walk into any store in the city and they know me, I know them, and it's reciprocated. You know, if somebody needs anything, I mean, I have the go-to guy, as I am the go-to guy for a Chevy. You know, I mean, it works, man. It really works.
So the hardest point a lot of people have is, I think sales today, it's great to be good at sales, and it's great to understand the process and the questions we need to ask. But I think today and in the future, and tell me if you think I'm right here, it's all about marketing. All right. I believe in the future with social media and the ways that we have to get people in our business. I believe the next level people are going to be the people that market the best. And what kind of marketing do you do?
Yeah, I mean, that's 100% on point. You know, again, back to what I was saying before, you can market yourself, and I get throw business cards in my local dry cleaner, but if I don't show up there, nobody's going to understand who you are. People just see a card. So marketing and being present at the same time really kind of takes you to the next level. But I have a billboard. I have a local billboard that I have up. Everybody knows pretty much kind of who I am and what I do, but I still have it up. It's just repetition. You can't throw it up for 2 months and assume you're going to get business. I mean, it needs to be up for years, and that takes time, and that's why staying at one dealership is key. You got to be able to advertise, and people need to keep seeing you. People get familiar with your face and what you do. So we have a billboard, right, Ali? A billboard. And how long have you had this billboard up? I've had that one for probably 4 years now.
4 years straight. You keep the same billboard.
Same billboard. I just freshen up what's on there. Yeah.
Okay. So we got a billboard. Everybody in town knows you. Yeah. Have you gone into all your local businesses and explained who you are and what you do? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I know pretty much every owner for every business in the city. I mean, I'm friends with everybody here. So, charity events, I attend a lot of charity events, and, you got to give back. I mean, I can send a check, or I can go there, give them a check and be present and rub elbows. And, I mean, it's not rocket science, man. You just got to be there. You got to put in the time. It's not rocket science, Ali. But you're absolutely right. It's not. But a lot of times we have trouble as salesmen investing in ourselves and putting the monetary value of what you need to invest in your community, which will come back to you. We don't see that sometimes. We don't connect the dots. So I'm glad. That's why I want to lead you down that road so you can explain to the people, and maybe they will see the light in that. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can't hit those kind of numbers just sitting at the dealership. It's what you're doing outside of the dealership that makes the biggest difference. So you can't hit those high numbers just sitting there waiting for dealer-driven business. It's just not going to happen. You got to be out there. And there's a lot of things, charity events and, local community centers, kids soccer games, kids, the football. I mean, it's one thing. I can put up a banner at a football game, which I have,
or I can put up a banner and I can show up at the football game. Again, two different things. So it just intensifies it, man. It's just, and you know, it's fun being there anyways. I mean, we're people business, right? We're in the people business. I want to see all these people. I want to say hello and I want to catch up with them. So it's more natural when you do it that way.
Well, I've noticed this week when we've been promoting this, I've noticed this week how good of a marketer you are. You're really, really good. I've noticed you. I've watched you the whole time. You're very good at building relationships. Okay. And I really believe that that's very important in social media for sure. Okay. But I noticed that about you. So if you're doing that on Facebook and if you're doing that for doing this, you obviously probably do the same thing in your community and with business owners and all the rest. So kudos to you. Now, all right, so let me retrace just a second here. You've got a billboard. You go to all the local charity events. You've got your name out in the community. You do a lot of reciprocating sales. Do you spend money other than the billboard monthly?
You know, just if I'm going to advertise in local papers.
So you do advertising in local papers, Ali?
Yeah, again, starting out locally. You know, it doesn't make sense for me to advertise in the Detroit newspaper where I can just put it in my local paper, you know. So, you know, I've done that. You know, any advertising is good. And anything that you can get your face on, definitely, you know, put it out there. And those local papers are a little bit less expensive than running those, you know, the big ads. So, and the billboards are not that expensive. You don't have to get one of those ones on the freeway. You want to get one in the downtown area of your community. You know, you don't want to get one on the, you know, on a local freeway or something. Just get it somewhere local.
All right. So that's cool, man. I'm really glad that you shared all that because I think that'll make everybody's mind click of what they need to do to hit that next level. Okay. Yeah. You can sit at your dealership. You can make phone calls. You can work your service drive, but that's going to put you at about 20 to 40 cars a month. Okay. But to get to that next level, you're going to have to really dig in your pocket. You're going to have to dig with your time and spend it out there in your community. All right. So now we see how you get people in, Ali. I got that. All right. So we got people in, but to hit the numbers you're hitting, okay, in a normal salesman's mind, he's like, hold on, man. We're not good at math, but let me use a calculator here. That equates to like, you know, 10 cars a day. What is your process? How do you do these kind of numbers daily? Tell me a little bit about your team and what that consists of.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the process. Like you said, you know, when you're in a relationship business, I don't have to go through a lot of the objections that you do with the new customer. So I'm not selling these people on liking me, loving me, trusting me. They already do. So when they're coming in, my process is more like, you know, just catching up for a few minutes, asking them, okay, hey, what are you doing here today? They tell me what's going on and, you know, kind of move forward. It's, you know, maybe 15 minutes, you know, by the time I get everything. You know, I asked a lot of questions, you know, because I want to get the big picture early. And, you know, and I'm a very good listener. So when somebody's saying something, I stop everything, I'm focused, and I get to the point right away. And then my team is awesome. You know, I have two assistants right now. Myrna, who is actually the brains of the operation. She handles all the paperwork. She handles pretty much everything, man. She it's a little scary because she reads my mind, you know, so that helps up the process. You know, if I'm talking to a customer and she knows where I'm going with it, you know, I might need a payoff, and next thing you know, it's on my desk. So all of these things kind of speed up the process.
How long has your assistants worked for you, Ali?
Well, she's my second assistant. My first assistant, Reda, who I love dearly, she got married and moved to Tennessee. So she started life out there. And then I got Myrna about 3 years ago. And she's really taken me to the next level. She really takes a lot off of my plate. You know, as you can imagine, it's hard to remember a lot of things. It's hard to kind of, you know, just get the paperwork flow. And, you know, if you're like me, the busier you get, the worse your handwriting gets. So you know, I can't even read my handwriting anymore because I have to ask her, what did I write down? And she understands it. So she pretty much handles everything, you know, the phone calls, service issues. You know, she could pretty much do everything by herself now. So she's good.
All right. So customer comes in. Walk me through this here. Customer comes in. We have an appointment with Bob. Old Bob and Nancy show up, right? They come walking in. Are you the person that meets and greets them right there?
Every time. Absolutely.
Okay. So then we talk about Bob. We have them sitting down. Are you already pretty much formulated on the car they want to buy before they get there? Or is that sitting down and learning a little bit about about their needs?
So it could be, you know, if I know they're coming in, you know, I might get a text message, hey, I'm coming in to look at a new car, or, you know, get a call, or Meaner gets a call, or if it's just somebody that's coming in that's new, you know, hey, you know, my lease is coming up, you know, a lot of times I'll get all the details that I need. I may sell them a car right then and there, and we might have them come back 2 hours later, you know, when I have to get the car ready. Another thing that speeds up the process too, Shawn, is if I have a hot item, like let's say I have an Equinox, that's a hot item, I'll have 3 or 4 of those ready. I mean, we're ready to go, you know, so kind of like having them in the showroom, but I just have them ready for delivery. So a customer walks in, you talk to them for a few minutes, chances are we ready. Sorry, I had a call there. So, you know, gather all what's going on with them. My car's ready. So I give them the option. I says, hey, you know, I got this car ready right now. Meaner's already started on the paperwork. She already knows they're there. We already have copies of everything. She's on the insurance. We load the deal, get it typed. And I mean, they could be driving in 20 minutes.
Wow.
You know, they walk in, you know, or if the car is not ready, I'll tell them, okay, come back at, you know, 3 o'clock. And then they come back at 3 o'clock, everything is ready. We're already done. So all they gotta do is pretty much sign some paperwork and get in the car. And, you know, I added another assistant, Sam, who this young man has been wonderful and very knowledgeable in the you know, all the tech stuff in the cars now. You know, you got a lot of stuff going on in the cars, and he's kind of my young legs. You know, it's hard running around the parking lot, you know, grabbing cars, putting back cars. So he's bought me years in the business, and he's doing really good, and I'm very proud of him too. He speeds up the process. You know, if he hears me talking about a car, you know, that the customer wants to see, and he pulls it up. So I don't have to stop what I'm doing, go out there, pull the car up. And, you know, the process is just, it's pretty quick, easy, it's simple. It's fast, but it's not rushed.
That's
sure
good. I like that. Fast, but not rushed.
Yeah, nobody's ever rushed. You know, I don't want everybody to think that, oh, I'm just kind of getting them in and out of there. No, man, I am focused. When the customer's in front of me, that's all I'm focusing on. There's times where they'll move a car in front of me on the showroom floor, and hour later, I realize it's a different car. I'll be like, what happened to that car? You know, they did it right in front of me, but I'm so focused, I don't see what's going on over there.
All right, so you're sitting down, your assistants, I see how you can have your assistants taking care while you're gathering information. They're probably around you. They're picking up cues from the customers. They're going out and pulling up the car that they think will be best suited. I see that. All right, test drives. We're ready for the test drive. Do all your customers go on test drives?
You know, here's a fine line, because at some point you don't really have to take the test drives, but the people starting off, you must take a test drives. You have to get that customer to love that car. You got to remember, I've been dealing with these people for 4, 5, 6 cars. So a lot of them are the same features, maybe different colors, maybe a new upgrade. We'll kind of show them the car, but I can eliminate that a little bit. But if they do want to test drive, absolutely. We make sure we go on it. I can go on it, or Sam can go on it. So he helps me out with that, because if he's test driving with the customer, I'm helping somebody else. So the process is, you know, a lot of people are looking at it like I'm helping one person at a time. You got to remember, I have 4 or 5 people there at the same time. Yes, I'm helping one at a time, but there's 4 or 5 customers there waiting. So I have 3 offices. So I can use any one of those offices. So as one is waiting on paperwork, I'm helping another customer.
Wow.
A lot of people are asking, how could you get all those cars in that amount of time? And I've noticed on these messages, people are leaving messages. Okay, well, you got, you know, one thing we all have in common. We all get 24 hours, right? God gave us all 24 hours. So how do you maximize that 24 hours? A lot of people are measuring what I'm doing in hours. I'm measuring it in minutes. So there's a little bit of a difference there. You might say it takes 2 hours to do something. Well, my block of time is 15 minutes at a time. So I'm getting more into that hour, if that makes sense.
I really hope my manager's on here tonight, Ollie, because I just heard you say something that was alarming to him, that you have 4 or 5 customers there at once. If we have more than one, we have to flip it to somebody, no questions asked. So it'd be pretty hard for me to do that. That is just his rule. And that's pretty amazing that you're allowed that latitude. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I mean, they're all greeted. I mean, they're not just roaming around. I mean, everybody's greeted. Everybody knows what's going on. I mean, it's a fun, exciting atmosphere when you come in my office area. You know, a lot of people actually, because this community is so tight, a lot of people know each other. They keep themselves company. You know, I have 3-4 offices going at the same time, but I greet everybody. You know, even if, as soon as I'm ready, I'll go greet somebody. I'll say, hey, I'll be with you in a few minutes. We have drinks there. We have snacks there. You know, we keep everybody comfortable. And but it's, yeah, if they're your customers, man, they want to come see you. You know, giving them off to somebody else could be a mistake.
All right. So I see your process. I get it. I think everybody else gets it. I think the marketing aspect of it and getting people in, I can see how you can manage it as long as you're allowed to. All right. The hardest part for me, all right, is the envisionment of keeping a personal relationship with that many people. Okay. And that's what I tip my hat to you, man. I tip my hat to you because I really believe it's about marketing and keeping personal relationships. How do you do that? That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it goes back to being active in the community. You know, the more people see you, the more, basically I kind of leave that up to the customers a lot of times too. So what happens is let's say that I train all my customers to call me for everything, right? So I want them to be in contact with me for everything, not just me being in contact with them. So we're both working it as a team. So I tell them, hey, if you get a flat tire, you call me. If you need service, you call me. If you need an oil change, you call me. Not so much because I'm going to do the oil change or change your flat tire. I want them to get used to calling me for everything. So now I'm in contact with them without actually reaching out to them, right? If that makes sense. So they're calling me, you know, hey, I didn't get my bill, no problem. And then I start talking to them a little bit. So now it just kind of stays fresh in their mind. You know, I also have a newsletter. I have a newsletter that goes out once a month. It's an email. It's more, you know, just a fun newsletter, just kind of stay in contact with everybody. And I might have a joke, I might have a recipe, and it might have my weekly ad. You know, so that kind of keeps me in contact with a lot of people too.
Well, you know, listening to you, I can see now why we have next level numbers. All right. You're putting a lot in of not only your time, but your money. Okay. Your effort. All right. And I think you've revolved it more around building relationships and marketing yourself, which is awesome. I think that's so important. And I really think it's more important in today's market than being a great salesman. Not that you're not, I'm sure you are, but I think that in today's market right now, being somebody that is exposed out there to bring customers in is way more important because customers are only going to 1.5 dealerships, Ollie. And if they're only going to 1.5 dealerships, then you need to be one of those 2 or under, right? So the best way to do that is what you're doing, which is marketing yourself. Great job. Kudos to you. Right. Let me ask you a question. When you first got in the car business, what were some of your goals? You know, did you have really lofty ones, or you kind of just didn't know what you wanted to do?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much like everybody else, when you first get in, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what to do. I mean, there's no training on that. You know, they kind of just tell you, hey, go grab a desk and, you know, figure things out. So, you know, I didn't really know what my goals were at the time. I just knew that I was trying to do something better. And, you know, I remember I sold 19 my first month, and you know, you get a check for 19 for 19 cars when you were making 400 or 500 a week. I mean, that's just, you know, kind of sets the tone right away, and you kind of see the potential. And you know, it became a people business more than a car business to me. You know, because I was having fun, man. I was just seeing so many people. People were coming in. I was meeting so many great people. As you, Shawn, you know, how many great people do you meet because of this business? I mean, not even just on Sales Hustlers, on just people walking in. You know, I mean, it's just, where else am I going to meet all these people? And it's just been just a blessing. Yeah, it's business has been just.
Well, you're definitely a people person. I've noticed that from the start. You know, people say that all the time. I'm a people person, but you know, you can tell when people build relationships quickly. And now I talked about what you thought when you got in the business. Do you mind if I dip my toe in the water and see what your future goals are? What do you plan on doing with this?
You know, I'm having fun right now. I mean, I'm good. I'm having fun. You know, I'm just going to keep moving forward. I'm focused on, you know, continuing to help people. You know, just like you, man. And it's amazing when you help somebody out in this, you know, in this industry, man. It's outstanding. So I hope to keep doing what I'm doing, and I hope to do what you're doing, man. What you're doing is awesome, helping so many people out there. And you know, I love to give back any way I can. I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you kind of what worked for me, and hopefully somebody will pick something up on it. And you know, that'd be pretty cool just to see that.
Well, I feel like you have a lot of knowledge to give. So we would more than welcome you to help us in this quest to get more knowledge in people's hands, because I believe there's a movement going on right now. I feel it in the car industry. And, you know, it's slow and it's a slow process, but I just feel it. I feel like it's becoming overwhelming. Everybody wants to get a little better. Everybody wants to focus on the customer. Everybody wants to not be so selfish. When I first got into the car business, I felt like everybody hoarded their information. Nobody wanted anybody to get good, because then, you know, they might beat you. But I feel like that's the opposite. I feel like if we all give everybody our information, then everybody gets better. And then the car industry gets better. And then when I go tell people what I do, I don't have to be embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? So
100%, man. Absolutely. That we need to change that image, because none of us are like that. I don't know when that image started coming out where you have to worry about telling somebody what you do. Man, I'm proud of what I do. I tell everybody what I do, and you know, we're good people, man. We're loving, we're caring. You know, all my coworkers are that way. I don't know where that image started. I don't know why that started, but we need to get rid of it.
Well, it started back before they had MSRP stickers. It started before they had the internet and you could find out what your trade was worth. And you know, we probably deserve the stigma. The problem is it's hard to get rid of it. And yeah. I try to explain to customers and people all the time that are in my life that the perception you have of our field is not the same as reality now, you know, but it's still hard to get people to change their mindset. We'll eventually be able to do it. It's just a slow process. What is your biggest strength? Okay, your biggest strength, if you could only name one out of you that has allowed you and propelled you to hit the numbers you have, what would you think that is?
I'm going to kind of say two. I'm going to say having patience. You know, having patience has been the biggest deal in my life, not just in the car business, but in life in general. You know, if you can master patience, I think that you're just going to become a better person in general. And, you know, the older that I get, the more compassion I feel towards humans in general. So, you know, being compassionate towards people is helping me a lot. You know, so if I get that single mother coming in and struggling, and, and I hear her story, and I'm asking because I want to know the story. I care, you know, and I want to know what's going on, and, you know, how can I help this person? And, you know, she might have bad credit because of it. It doesn't give me a right to take advantage of this person. I need to help her become a better person, and I need to do my job. And, you know, just having that compassion, that heartfelt feeling for people, man, we got to bring that back. I mean, that's why people come and see us, you know, because I care, you know, and they know that. And I'm going to say something back to the high numbers. The reason why I'm able to do those, the volume that I do, excuse me, is I'm probably making 90% of the decisions when people come in. So I don't have any objections. I don't have to overcome certain things. So, you know, they might just pick the color they want, you know, but I'm guiding them, and they trust that I'm guiding them in the right direction. So, you know, I would say 85 to 90% of the decisions I'm making them.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. So like 80 to 90% of the customers that you're selling on a daily basis, basically when they get to the dealership, they're sold, man, already. All you're doing is basically picking a car, or you're deciding on the car, and they're just picking the color.
Right. The rest of it is just minor detail. It's minor details. You know, they're you know, they don't have to go home and ask the spouse. They don't have to say, I got to go discuss it with my spouse. I need a couple of days. I mean, these decisions are made right then and there, and it speeds up the process, you know. And I'm giving them every reason to believe that that's the right decision. I'm not, I'm giving them the benefit of doubt. I'm very transparent, and I tell them exactly this is what we have going on, and they understand it and trust it. And a lot of times, they'll tell me, hey, what do you think? And okay, let's do that. And the rest is easy. I don't have to overcome all these objections.
Well, that's amazing. And I believe exactly what you're doing, or you wouldn't be able to put up the numbers you're doing. Okay. Because for your process to be quick, okay, and for your process to move along the way it needs to sell the amount of cars you're selling, they have to have a lot of trust in you and basically make it easy and quick. That is amazing that you have that kind of relationship with your customers. And I think that would be the number one thing I would take out of this today, is that the amount of marketing is great, but the relationship that you're building with these customers to build that level of trust, that's something you need to bottle up. And you probably already did with a book. Okay. And we're going to plug your book here in a little bit. But guys, anybody that wants to learn about that, we need to probably get this book and we need to read it cover to cover. Will you tell us a little bit about the book real quick and how you decided to make it?
Yeah. So the book, the book is just about the basics, man. It's about building relationships. And, it's kind of like, just if your mother was going to buy a car from you, I mean, that's pretty much all my customers, so she's not going to ask you any questions. She's not going to, think that anything is going on negative. It's all about building relationships. And the more you deal with the same people, the more that kind of, gets a little bigger. So, I have 4 or 5 drivers in a household now, and I'm selling to every single driver. So those things, are where those high numbers come in. The book really was, I don't know if we introduced Damian Boudreaux here. But back in 2010, I met Damian, and he was talking about this relationship selling, and I was already doing that, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know, how to kind of explain it. I didn't know what was going on. So he kind of shed some light on what was going on, and we became pretty good friends. And he's helped me out a lot, just understanding people and understanding the process and understanding, different levels and how to get to different levels. And the book was his idea. He came out with it and he says, you can help a lot of people. We need to get this out there. And that's kind of where that came in. And it's all about relationships.
Well, I probably know the answer to this. And by the way, Damian's your number one fan. Just as much as you're in there going back and forth with everybody and responding to people on Facebook, he is too. So it's pretty amazing. Uh-oh. Hold on 1 second. Well, that sucks. Sorry about that. You guys are going to have to suffer through with one light. My light went out. I apologize, everybody. We're almost to the end, though. All right, so if you could give one thing that you would tell people, green peas, experienced guys, it doesn't matter. Okay, I need one thing that you could best advise them on to get better and grow daily. What would it be?
Just building that relationship business, building our relationship. Start that early. I was blessed to kind of watch a couple people that I worked with start that. And, you got to start that early. However you got to do it, whatever you got to do to advertise to get people to understand and what you do. And that's the best thing you can start out. Yeah, man. And, again, compassion, patience. I mean, all these things, a lot of times it does come with maturity, but the quicker you can learn those things, the quicker you can understand those things, the faster you're going to grow.
What inspires you daily, Ali?
Man, just first thing comes to mind is just being a role model for my kids. I have beautiful 8-year-old twins, and my son is so excited when he sees the book, and my daughter, they kind of look at it and they just want to, they see their dad out there working hard and doing the right thing, and just helping people too, man, helping people every day. I go to work every day knowing that I'm going to help somebody. you know, and that could be not selling them a car. Doesn't mean just because they come in to see me that I'm going to put them in a car. I mean, that helping them may not be me selling them a car. So, you know, that's inspiring. And, you know, all this positive feedback that we've gotten in the last couple of days, man, I'm so humbled by it. And, you know, I'm inspired by that. I mean, that's just so cool. And I really hope this helps people. And I really like to give back. And I appreciate everybody watching this video too, man. I know, you know, that's inspiring in itself.
Well, we're gonna help somebody out here. You want to have some fun here?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You know what Sales Hustlers is. You're part of Sales Hustlers, right? Our community group. We have Absolutely. A Sales Hustlers Live coming up in next month, and in the spirit of Ollie being on here, I'm going to give away some free tickets. All right. We're going to give away 4 free tickets. All right. This is unprecedented. I didn't even ask Dave Benson, so I don't know if this is okay, but we're going to go ahead and give 4 free tickets. If you know what 44-year record Joe Girard, the number of cars he had, okay, the number of cars that Ollie just beat, I want you to put it in the comments. Okay, first 4 that do it are going to get 4 free tickets to Vegas for our January 21st trip. Okay, all right, so that's kind of cool. Now, I always ask, yes, amen. And Ollie, you're more than welcome to come speak, buddy. Just come speak. All right, I want to ask you. I always ask this because I just want to know. I don't know why I'm nosy, but I just like this tells me a lot about somebody and what type of music they listen to. If you can have 3 albums, Ollie, what are the 3 albums? If we crash on a deserted island and they have a CD player, okay? What are the 3 albums that you want to have with us?
All right, man. So, you know, my first one I'm going to pick is George Ezra. You know, I just love his music. I love his style. Kind of connects with me. It reminds me of the summertime. So I'm going to go with that. And of course, I'm from Motown. So I got to go with the king of pop, man. I got to go with Michael Jackson. You could pick anyone. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're all good. So any music from him, of course, is outstanding. And, you know, kind of tossed up on the last one, man. I'd like to get some, if we're on the island, I'd like to get maybe some Pitbull Spanish version music out there. You know, I think we're going to have that out there. So I think that'll make a nice party time out there. So I'd probably go with that.
Well, I want to thank you. I want to thank you today. It's been amazing. We went a little bit longer. I apologize, man, but a lot of people wanted to hear this, man. I want you to understand that we had 126 to 140 people in there the whole time. Okay, that's how many people wanted to hear your story. That's how many people wanted to hear and were interested in getting better. That's what I see out of that. I don't see people just wanting to watch me and you, okay? I don't see that. They can see that on a daily basis. What I took out of that was a lot of people want to get better. They want to see what is the secret to get better. I hope y'all heard tonight. You better market yourself, okay? You better build relationships. You need to spend a little bit of your own money and get out there in your community. All right. Yep. And you have to be at the same place for a long time. All right. Yeah, I think that's what I took out of here tonight, along with a lot of other great tips. But Ollie, why don't you say goodbye to everybody? Find out, tell them where they can get a hold of you. Tell them where they can get your book and everything else.
Yeah, man. Well, let me flip the script real quick and just say thank you to you, man, for you and Chad. What you guys are doing is just unbelievable, man. Nobody's doing the things you guys are doing. It's outstanding, man. I'm a huge fan. You know, so on behalf of everybody out there, man, thank you. You know, it's amazing what you guys are doing, and I'm so blessed to be a part of it. So, thank you.
Thanks,
thank you. On behalf of everybody, thank you, man.
Thank you.
So cool. You got it. And you know, I'm humbled by everybody out there, man. Thank you so much. If I'm always available. Any help I can give anybody, man, just reach out to me on Facebook. If you want my number, I'll put it out there. Just you know, anything I can do to help out, I'll be more than happy to.
Some people says I couldn't afford to pay the light bill when my little portable light went out over here to the right. I got like a lot of light over here on the left, but I don't have anything over here. I feel like Tommy Two-Face. Guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, man. I had to sit here with Ali and look at Tom Brady's jersey the whole time, but we're going to have to go ahead and be okay with that because of how much I learned tonight. Okay.
There you go.
I want you to understand, guys out in Facebook land and people that watch Spotlight every week, it is about building relationships. That is what is going to make greatness, not just in your life, but in business as well. If you've noticed, Facebook is about building relationship. Social media is about building relationship. Well, so is your business, and so is the people you interact with daily. If we can all get better at that, you're going to sell more cars. I promise you. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I want to thank QuickPage, the best app in the business, for all they do. Okay. They come in here and sponsor this show every week. It is an amazing app. And if you're doing video and you need to send it to customers, which you do, by the way, you need to get some of these apps. The app to use is QuickPage. I endorse it. I love it. Thank you, Chad Morgan. Thank you for everybody out there. Sales hustlers, I thank you for coming in here strong tonight. We had people in here representing. I appreciate it. You supported a couple of your own. And guys, I'll be back tomorrow with a great video. And next week, we'll be back with another Spotlight. Thanks, Ali. I appreciate you. And thanks for everything you do.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Bye, everyone.